Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. My name is Andre Hodge. I go by the name of Seven of Truth. It's a bit of an acronym and my website. Um, and I'm good friends with some very interesting people. And we've known each other for a little while. And we've just been having a few chats of late and observing how the reality is at the moment and what we've been involved in. And um, there hasn't really been much information relative to the work that we've been doing, and I'm sort of waiting for one of the people to drop in, but yeah, we haven't I haven't heard from Nickie at the moment, so it's quite interesting. But I'm here with Captain Max Steele. He's one of the people I wanted to have a chat with, and yeah, he's had an interesting morning. But before we get into that, I'd just like to thank everyone that subscribed to my YouTube channel. Without crossing over the 1,000 people threshold, I wouldn't have been able to do this. And the conversation the group of us sort of had, Nickie's sort of been doing some pretty major work around the world. She's actually been on a pretty important couple of missions, um, and the awareness of it just isn't out there. She's actually sort of recovering, having a bit of downtime in Kathmandu in Nepal after going into sort of a war zone in Egypt and doing some major grid temple and activation work and closing some portals down and like visiting Luxor and going to the kings and queens sort of chambers and things like that. But she isn't actually here, and we've had some interesting stuff happen. So before I talk too much, I'd like to introduce Captain Max Steele. Max, how are you?
I am doing good, and I appreciate you uh, ask. Okay.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm here.
It's a bit of an echo. What you need to do, okay, is you need to turn the sound off on the YouTube site. You mute that, you're getting an echo. It's a bit of a delay.
Where did I do this at?
You know, in the screen with the YouTube site,
Oh,
you need to just click the sound into mute.
I got it.
Yeah, yeah. Nikki and I we were playing with it before just to get used to it, and that's all that's happened. So you okay?
Uh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Go ahead with the show and go ahead and say what you got to say, and I will be here and answer whatever question you throw at me
Yeah,
or
well,
what you want me to do.
I've sort of done an introduction, but I'll just repeat it. So yeah, we're waiting sort of on Nikki to. I don't know if she's got a bad connection or anything like that. She knows what time it is and stuff. So but what I sort of alluded to was you, myself, and Nikki. We had a bit of a conversation about what's been going on. Okay, here she is. And um, yeah, but you've had a real interesting morning. Do you want to just share what's gone on while we're sort of waiting for Nikki to sort of come back?
Yes, I was last night. I had a hard time sleeping. Went to bed about 4:30 this morning, and a lot of people, like special people like us, that we're involved in a lot of things to help the Earth in many ways with the galactic brothers and all that. Um, I was attacked last night about 5 o'clock in the morning um, by scalar weapons, and because I have a protection over my house, but only for weather, and I didn't realize that I had to put a protection over myself, uh, so I won't get hit. But they did. They figure it out, and they hit me with it, and I was pulled out of the room, and my protectors pulled me out into a ship. small air spacecraft up in about 5,000 feet above from my home. They pulled me out, and as soon as they pulled me out, the ships were being attacked. More ships came, and I was put down. We went into the Earth fourth dimension, and uh, we fought. Are we still there?
Yeah, I'm just in mute because Nickie's here. So
Okay.
but keep
All
explaining,
right.
mate.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I didn't hear you. But anyway, I was taken into Earth fourth dimension, and everything looked different. My whole property was not even here. My house was gone, and the fourth dimension here was very beautiful. Forest everywhere, beautiful animals, and all that. But right after that, I was being attacked from all sizes. We were doing a ground battle, and I got wounded in the right foot.
Hello.
On Okay,
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Miss Thetsy. Do you want to mute your YouTube?
My YouTube, nothing is on right now.
Okay.
How do I mute that?
No, it's
No,
cool. It's cool. There was a bit of an echo, but Max is talking about an attack he had overnight.
Okay. Okay, maybe I should put my headset. All right.
Okay, I will continue. I got hit in the right foot, and actually, I shot in the very small toe of my foot, and I was bleeding. And a lot of people think this is fantasy. It's not real. It is real. We live in that type of reality timeline. Most of you out there don't live that kind of life. We do. We work for the light, and we are attacked at all times. But going back to it, after I was hit in the foot, the battle lasted like 4 hours in the fourth dimension, and a lot of ships were shot down. The ship that I was in got shot down, and they beamed me out of there with everybody into another ship, and then we had reinforcement from my galactic family that showed up, and they start to uh, take all the ships down and not destroy them, because my people do not destroy or shoot anybody down or use violence. They use love. We do have a weapon on all of our ships that we can, once we shoot the signal into the ships, we send it to a dimension that we have created, where we send it there so they can live the rest of their lives there without destroying them. While they're there, we usually, you know, send. We have a replicator that is sent to their ships that will replicate any type of food or any type of things that they need. Only food and supplies it's been given in those replicators. They cannot use a replicator to get out of there. Okay, so that's what happened. I came back down into the body. Well, not in the body. I came down from the ship back into the house, and the shields
No.
that I had were replaced with a shield where no other scalar weapons or any type of harp system can penetrate it. So I'm safe now. I did bring my guard down a little bit, but I'm okay. But everything's okay, and they just trying to take me out because I do have a talk show every Wednesday at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Dark City Radio. So that's where my show is at every Wednesday. So they know I bring all kinds of professional people on the air and to speak about their private life and their secret life they had in the past. So I get attacked all the time, always. But I am working with Nickie and Andre here. very different, special types of what you would say in the military, special ops. Uh, what we're doing, and well, anyway, that's all I have to say. Go ahead and take over.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be an interesting start to how we were going to get involved with this. So you've had some drama straight off, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been interesting. It's basically we've sort of been fragmented, doing our own thing and stuff like that, and then um sort of Nickie's been in Egypt and doing some grid work and many things, and we thought, look, all right, let's see what we can do and have a chat, and we have a lot of chats behind the scenes with each other and stuff like that, and I thought about what if, is there a way that we can sort of eliminate um, anyone else and just do it ourselves, and there was via YouTube, and my attitude has been like we've actually been doing a lot of work remotely and grid work and stuff like that for 18 months, 2 years, depending. Like I've been doing work with Nickie, and she's always doing work. And I met Max start of 2014, and we sort of, the three of us sort of got together, and we've been doing things here and there. And over that time, I've been sort of, we've each individually been interacting with a lot of people and exploring whether to share what we've been doing and that. And by interacting, we've been sort of giving opportunities for people to sort of perceive what's going on and want to explore it. And the reality is that no one's really been interested or doing it. So that's why it was sort of a bit of a line in the sand at the moment, and we want to really offer it to give a perspective from our opinions, what we've been doing, to add to the totality of everything been going on. So we were sort of wanting to do a sort of a focus review of what Nickie's been doing, because Max has got very perceptive abilities, so he can sort of via an external validate what she's been doing. But what I want to do is just introduce Nickie, because you haven't had a chance. So Nickie, how are you?
Good, everyone. How are you?
So you're currently in Kathmandu, Nepal, and
Yes, I
you've been
am.
there how many days now?
I got here literally on the 29th. That's the day after I finished my work in Egypt. It was basically touch and go. Where we're constantly being attacked, and it's amazing. I mean, you want to talk about witnessing the real deal of what life's like when you're being constant attacked, and they had every reason to, because I went there to basically ascend all the pharaohs, the slaves, and all the valley, the kings and the queens, their lineages, and also, like I said, the pyramids, the three main pyramids at Giza. And they were not happy with that, because now we're talking about the ancient technologies of the ETs, and and they're losing control when I come in and take over. I basically activate all three of them. I rotate them at a different degrees, and so imagine, if you will, it's like taking the Rubik cubic. Remember in the 80s, and you had to turn them to match the colors from red to yellow or green and blue and things like that. So literally, I had to do that, and each one of them functioned differently. And like, for example, the middle one, if you know the middle pyramid, it's literally just like the cubic. I mean, it's shift. It's a machine. And if you look at it, it's not really a pyramid, because they actually have the opposite, a mirror image of the pyramid on top. So they're floating and they're moving in a clockwise position. And when I took it over and start shifting at certain degrees, and then like this bright light, like golden light, start giving off from the center of each of the pyramids. But I'm gonna call them diamond shape, okay? And so all three of them have given off that brilliant golden bright light. And so when that happens, that took a while, and I basically had to do my work in a by the trash dumpster because there was no anywhere that was safe to perform my ceremony, to do my work. I had to go hide in the dark alley and do my work. After I finished, went to my hotel, collect my stuff, got a hotel, and literally left. And as I was being driven to the airport, and that took about an hour drive. Okay, the airport was out in the boony land somewhere. And while the car was moving, I was still doing my meditation work. Got there, checked in, got through immigration, and left. It was like that. I mean, had I stayed, I probably would have gotten attacked because it's always you go in, you do the work, and you leave because that's the only way you can keep yourself clean. They can't detect any of your fingerprint. So yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, and now the
Hey,
pharaohs.
I
Okay.
don't want to interrupt you too much, but
Yes.
you've given a whole heap of stuff, okay? Let's back it up a
Mm-hmm.
bit. You're talking about
Mm-hmm.
actually work and stuff, and you're talking like a, a bit all over the place. So it's nothing bad. You've given us a lot, right? But when did all the Egypt stuff sort of come up? Like what and all the timing and stuff like that relative to Egypt?
Mm-hmm.
Because you if like my perception is that this is like a third round of work that you've done,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
related to something you did in 2012, and
Mm-hmm.
like your original birth country is Laos, and you
Mm-hmm.
visited there, and then you sort of went to Egypt. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll do it really quick, and then if we need to go into detail and stuff like that, but
Okay.
it needs to give some context. That's all I'm sort of suggesting, and
Mm-hmm.
the 2012 work, like you went to Chichen Itza, and that was a mission that was all laid out for you. Do you want to just give a quick synopsis of that?
Well, first of all, I mean, we can go even further because I remember my past reincarnation. I was also part of the pharaohs, okay, and because I was part of the queen of pharaohs, I actually was not human at that time. I came from a different planet as a queen, okay, already, and so because of that, then I took on the wife of one of the pharaohs. Okay, then I gave birth to who became the ruler of the pharaoh and united the religion into one um, religion, and that did not go well with the high priest. And a lot of what you see today with the Illuminati and Masonic are a lot of them are the reincarnated pharaohs that want to take over and continue this dark lineage.
Sure.
Okay, and so I in so then in 2013, I believe, is that right? 2 years ago, I did on my birthday. Okay, exact time of my birth, the pharaohs and their kingdom, including Horus and goddess Anubis, both of them came with their people, which is their their children and relatives, and you can tell because they were not slave, and I guess I should say the court, and they came and they were very very upset, extremely upset. Okay, and Horace could not talk to me. okay? Because Horus was basically being hijacked. They had the bad guys in this 3D reality. What they have done is they discover his tomb, and they went and they took his DNA, okay, and they were messing with his DNA. Basically, they use his DNA to control a lot of the pharaoh lineages. Anytime you have a DNA connection, that means your son, nephews, whatever, it doesn't matter what the lineage, how long, as long as you have that DNA connection, you will be affected. So they went and hijacked him, they decapitated him, okay? So when you buried a being in the 3D reality, okay, you can either bury it with a head connected. If not, and then you put some kind of spell into it, it's a whole different story. That's how you can control, okay, the next soul, because the soul needs to have its full body together. Either that, or you gotta burn it, okay? Just like the Hindu, what they
Sure,
practice.
sure.
You have to
But
burn it so then the
let's
soul can come back and reincarnate. But anyhow, so that's all how it got started
okay,
with my connection with Egypt. Okay, so
sure.
then I
So that
went
that
to, I
came
think
that came,
2012
but what
led
I'm
me to Chichen Itza.
like you said on your birthday in 2013 that Egypt
Mm-hmm,
sort of stuff happened. Chichen
mm-hmm.
Itza happened in 2012, December.
Yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
that was sort of in this sort of set of three sort of like grid locations on the Earth. All
mm-hmm,
right. So that was the start of it. And you had this sort of, I remember you talking about cruise ship and everything was like offered and it sort of all lined up and you hate cruise ships because you get seasick and you had to have seasick tablets and stuff like that. But then you got there and
mm-hmm,
you turn that pyramid on.
mm-hmm. Yes, I
So
did. I turned on that pyramid in 2012.
yeah, yeah. So that was sort of the start of these sort of um, three linked sort of regions on the Earth. So I haven't really
Mm-hmm.
caught up with you much since before you left, say, the US, and then you went to um, like Laos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I went to Laos to clear my karma before I go and do work. Now, I have been doing my own karmic clearing, but every time you do it, it cleans you. It's like getting promotion. And
yeah,
you always have to do it at the physical birthplace where you're at, because that's when you go to like the higher promotion. And
okay,
when I did my work, everyone should have their own divinity light codes, okay? Now the dark guys have it too. It's very dim. Okay, you want to be able to expand that light. Now my heart is not light anymore. Okay, it's now when you look at it, it's you can see the entire galaxy. It's completely different, um, different levels,
yeah,
and and after I finished that, that's when I went to activate Ankrovat. Ankrovat. Ankrovat is shifted. It's got a whole new code for humanity to activate their DNA. And the Ankrovat is also on the ley line.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I've actually got an image of Bruce Cathy, and he's like, unfortunately, he's passed away, but he was a New Zealander that was very aware of the grids of the Earth. So one of the
Mm-hmm.
images that are on the actual this video is in the top left, and that's an aspect of his grid work. And on his website or his former website, he had a overhead Google image with the ley line going through it because he established all the ley lines through Google Earth and stuff. But I
Mm-hmm.
just want to ask Max, like I met Max start of 2014, around 2012 and stuff like that, mate. What were you doing?
Well, I was actually working for different governments. I would be called upon and fly. Um, not commercial, but actually different types of aircraft that was provided for me,
Okay,
and I would actually go to these places to open. UFO craft, and a lot of times when I went in on the ships would talk to me and tell me everything about everything in the inside, but they will always tell me not to give them everything. Just when they ask me a question, the government, I would just answer in a certain way, or not giving out all the information of the craft.
Sure.
That's what I've been doing. Also, I've
Okay.
been doing a lot of remote viewing with different private sources to find different things around the planet that gets lost or stolen. And I've been also going off planet to different parts of other universes, and also able to do different things for other humans that look like us, but very different in many ways. Um, that's about it.
Cool. Yeah. I just wanted to sort of I haven't actually asked you those questions, so I was actually quite interested because you perceive the ley lines and stuff like that, remotely and things like that, and you can actually adjust the lines and um, many sort of abilities in that realm as well, similar to like Nikki's got very special sort of things that she can do, and you can perceive what she does as well. So I just wanted to sort of get a chronology of what was going on, sort of. So we backed up a little bit. So how long were you in going back to Nikki? Like, when were you in Anchor? What?
I was in
See,
Angkor let's see, I think that was in August,
Okay.
beginning somewhere August.
Yeah. So a month or so ago, like 4 or 5
Hmm.
weeks. And then how long was it before you worked out you needed to go to Egypt, or that all got set up after Angkor Wat?
No, nothing gets set up. I mean, it was just after I finished Angkor Wat, literally I left the next day and arrived in Malaysia for one day. Did a little bit of work there, and then I think I was stuck there for 8 hours, so I did some work there, and then left. Um, Stopped by in Kuwait, and then landed. So that took about almost like a day, 2 days by the time I get to Egypt.
Mm.
And as soon as I landed in Egypt, I went into my meditation work right away.
Yeah.
So for 3 days, I landed on the 26th, actually, yeah, August 26th. And and it was very, very intense work because one of the hotel that I stayed at, it was situated right in front of the Sphinx. So you can imagine the energy. And I was opening up a portal, create a new portal for it. And there are things you have to do before you can actually come on and take over the pyramid. You can't just take over. Okay, you have to do the work energetically and physically on foot. So this is what I call field work. And I had to walk around each of the pyramid on foot, and the temperature was like 115 out there. It was crazy hot. And I got my aqua shoes that I was wearing. I did not have one of those hiking shoes because I need to be grounded, and those hiking shoes are way too high. So aqua shoes, you can imagine the layer was not thick, and my feet was like burning. So it was a very fast walking pace, going around a complete circle around each of the pyramid, and putting my sacred elixir on the pyramid, okay, and then basically touching each of the pyramid to shift. And then some of the pyramids I went in, and some I did not.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, this is half an hour in, and we're just starting to get a rhythm of this because it was like interesting with all the different energies coming in. So you're in sort of Cairo for all this time. How long were
Hmm.
you in Cairo for?
I was in Cairo for 3 weeks.
Mm.
3 weeks.
So,
Actually, that's not true. I wasn't in that's not true. The August 26th, I had to go. I thought I was gonna go activate the water in Alexandria, and it turns out I did not end up activating the Mediterranean Sea. I ended up shutting down multiple portals, and that was a scary portal if you had seen it. It's a very dark portal. It came from Mother Earth, and it went up to all the way to eighth dimension. Okay, and that's the day where they gave me hell from since the time I woke up at 7 a.m. till 12 midnight. And I knew they were messing around and they did not want me to go shut this dark portal before I shifted the three pyramids. I went, I mean, it was horrendous. I mean, on foot, it was an hour drive from my hotel to get there, and then a series of payments you had to do, and changing from buses to another. And I don't know how I got there, but I got there, and it took more than an hour to get there, aside from several miles of walking to the ocean. Once I got there, then it was like no problem because they knew they lost. They
yeah,
knew they
yeah.
lost once I
Well, I
got
mean,
there. And yeah.
Egypt's a pretty pivotal area on the planet, and
Uh, it has
and
been
like
ruled
just let
by
let me
over
let me
thousands
let
of
me
years.
just let me finish, all right? Um, Basically, what's going on with the consciousness and the earth is that one of the aspects of the domination and control is they need to traumatize the region and the population. So if we look at recent sort of last couple of years in Egypt, there's been a lot of dis-ease deliberately introduced into the people and stuff like that, with the whole region around the Arab region to traumatize the population and traumatize the earth to lock down the energies and the stuff that you're saying about the portals and things like that. They're you know they're the heavyweight weapons to maintain that sort of control. So the work you're sort of doing is basically reducing their foothold there to have less leverage to impose such stuff. And it's like a consciousness war zone, basically. I mean, like what you're saying about going and landing there, it was like game on, you know. You weren't there to muck around. So, yeah, so 3 weeks in Cairo, what was your, like, how did you feel for the, the consciousness of the region and stuff? I mean, how did you feel about being in Cairo?
Uh, it was super dark. People were very aggressive there. Okay, very dark. And I did not enjoy there. I remember how I was over thousands of years ago, as I was, being in the kingdom, and I did not like it then. I did not like it now. I still had the same feeling. Okay, it's just because remember, I remember my past incarnation. So I didn't like it then, I didn't like it now, and I saw the same problem then, and I still see it today. And it's run infested everywhere around the world because all these high priests, they were just going against the higher collective soul that are here for the ascension, and they want to rule and continue to trap the humanities in the dark. And that's what
Yeah.
we're facing with today, with vaccine, with government, and all of that.
Mm. So, I mean, you're perceptive of the incarnation and the soul level of the individuals there. Um,
Yes,
how do you feel about the people that are incarnating there? Obviously, they're incarnating into a pretty dense region and stuff like
yes.
that. So,
Mhm.
what was your perception of the people? Obviously, they're struggling to survive and stuff like that, but what do you feel about the people?
Uh, what's really interesting is it's not just their reincarnation, but also the religion that backing them up, and the culture in itself. Because I observe, and everywhere I go, there's people smoking in the hotel lobby, their rooms, the hallway, everywhere the
Mm,
men are smoking,
mm,
okay, and majority of the women are head to toe are covered up, but you can see beyond the veil, and they're dressed up. I mean, I see women in high heels dressing, high-end clothes or very sexy clothes underneath the black galabria that they wear. I could see through that. So if I could see with my own naked eyes, I'm sure other people can see it too. So to me, and I look at people that are very stressful, and it makes you wonder, what is it? Is it the culture, the religion, the government, the food, the air, the heat? What is it? It makes you wonder because these people are always constantly aggressive, and they love to wear brands. It makes you wonder, what are they really focusing on? And every day you're being waken up by the schedule of the prayer. I mean, you can't escape from that. So it's kind of interesting. And I do a cross comparison with people in Nepal. And in Nepal, not too many people smoke at all. People here are generally very, very happy. Happy, they're nice, they're kind, they want to help you. You know, not asking for money, by the way. They'll help you without asking for money. So that's a difference. And alcohol is allowed here, but I don't see too many people. I barely see anybody drinking here either since I've been here. And so it's kind of interesting, the dynamics. You look at, is it the culture, the weather, is it the religion? What is it, that's causing this huge difference? And so it's kind of interesting to be able to compare that. And so my spiritual work really focused on several things. Basically, the main key is one, to ascend, okay, to ascend the entrapped soul, okay, and particularly the one that's been hijacked and trapped by the dark forces in human 3D that's using them, okay, for the energetic and also power. If you look at all the kings and the lineages, they are very powerful beings. So if you have their DNA, or you harness their DNA, decapitate the dead remainings, you actually have power to control that soul. And my job is to be able to release that, okay, and for them to ascend. I also release, what else? Besides the pyramid, and to ascend, and that means the ETs that have been controlling the pyramids, are also having to let go of that. And trust me, they were not happy about it. A lot of them are not happy with it because basically I cleaned out the pyramids, okay, cleaned it out inside, outside, and I ascended it. And this also affect the other planets that are connected to the pyramids.
Okay, so
Would you like
what you're saying is that basically um, the pyramids are an aspect of the control, or they have been,
mm-hmm,
and then they're an anchor for other realms to maintain the control as well. Is that what you're saying?
mm-hmm, yep,
Okay, so what you did with this work, it sort of disconnected that link,
mm-hmm,
which
yep.
reduces the foothold of energy for maintaining the control.
Yes, when I initiated the pyramid, the pyramid radiated out towards many directions on the planet, and it hit a lot of the Pacific sites, okay, power sites, and so we have been already witnessing some of the changes resulting from that work. So I'm waiting to observe more that's going to be unfolding
Yeah, yeah.
as
So I
well.
mean, this work, it sort of is done on that point, and then it takes there's a fraud time sort of linear aspect that requires some time for it to um, have an effect. So it needs to
Mm-hmm.
sort of send ripples out, and then those ripples need to sort of integrate into the reality. So
Yeah.
so you said you're in Cairo for 3 weeks. I think you mentioned that you went to the museum. Did something happen there?
Yes, I went to the museum, and fortunately, it was perfect timing because majority of the mummies were at the collection of the museum. So I was able to see the mummies and put my sacred elixir, use my sacred elixir, and I'm not going to disclose how that worked because they're not going to be happy about it. And I was able to clear on the physical level. Now you're talking about like the mummies. Okay, so that's very special to be able to clear at that level. And anytime you clear anything on the physical 3D density, it is much more difficult for other people to come in, intervene, and change the timeline. They cannot do that. Once you do it on the physical 3D, everything else is more difficult to change. Okay? That's why it is important to do things on the 3D as much as possible. There are many people, spiritual light worker, new age people that are doing the work remotely, and then they're playing with timeline, this and that. No, they're actually, yeah, it helps, but it's just a band-aid and screwed up some things, okay? But it's not permanent. You have to go change on the 3D level.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is
Um,
where the game is being played. So yeah.
yes. So you have to
So
change it at the root cause of it.
so then like after Cairo and stuff, 3 weeks of pretty dense energy, interacting with the people, they're all suffering and they're trying to survive and perhaps being influenced and stuff. And the tourism's down, which is their lifeblood and stuff. So there's a lot of survival sort of stuff going on. Where else did you go from there?
I went to Luxor. I went south. Could not get any train tickets to north or south, and ended up sitting stuffed, literally stuffed in a can of a bus without air conditioning for how many hours? 10, 15, I don't know, 12 hours, and to get there, and um, and Luxor was way much better than the pyramid area, which is Cairo. And I gotta tell you, the energy intensity that come off from Cairo comes from the pyramid itself. Okay, that's the power generator. The problem is it generates dark energy, not positive energy, and that radiates throughout the entire world, according to a certain ley line.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah. The like
going
the pyramid
south.
temple structures are there to lock consciousness down. They're
Mhm.
a defense mechanism from external and say if there's a mass migration of incarnation to raise the consciousness, they're like devices to sort of aid in the
Mhm.
the limitation sort of stuff. So yeah, keep going with Luxor.
Um, the Luxor was kind of nice. I was able to find a hideout place. The energy wasn't so bad. It was pretty good, and then stayed there to recover, to rest, and because and it wasn't so much rest because I had to go to the Valley of the Kings and Valley of the Queen, and there was a lot of work. Okay, because I had to go in every chamber. I had to do karmic clearing. Okay, and some of the chamber that is not even discovered yet, but they have a name and they duck in, and they bar you off from going in. So I just go and do my work. I'll pass by and I just do my work. I don't know who it is, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm clear, clear, clear. And what's interesting was that in the very same year, earlier this year, I was being attacked by the new species of the ET mixed with satanic, okay? Literally Satan with the horn. And they create a new breed out of the Hollywood, and they use all these goddesses, okay, to change their DNA. And if you look at people like Madonna, Katy Perry, Whitney Houston and Miley Cyrus, okay? But mainly Houston, Whitney Houston, Katie, and Madonna. Those are the three divas, the greatest diva, okay? I wouldn't call Miley Cyrus is a big diva, okay? She's not that big compared to these other three. And if you notice, all their father are take some kind of priesthood, okay? Madonna, her father was, I think, was he a Catholic? Okay, so you have to look at that and how these people become famous because they were being hijacked and supported by the dark. So in early this year, when they had the red carpet thing, wasn't the Grammy? It was what do you call those? Was it is that the Grammy? You know, where the red carpet and they vote who's gonna, won some academy. It's the Academy,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's when, yeah. And then they also had the Super Bowl. You could see what Katy Perry did. Okay, that's very biblical, symbolic of what was going on. So they're telling us something. Okay, but during the Grammy, a lot of things had happened. Huge thick fog start coming in, and it was like during the summertime. That doesn't happen. It wasn't even June gloom month. Okay, and that usually typical happen, if you're in the Southern California, like San Diego
Sure,
or
sure.
Los Angeles.
But
So, and
let's
now
focus.
you
Let's
all of a
just
sudden, yeah, you get all this dark clouds. No, that's what I'm saying is that there was an interference from the light coming in because the new creation of the new species. When I went into my meditation, okay, that night, um, I saw that new breed came and tried to attack me. And what's interesting was that when I responded, I went to the Valley of the King. I saw with my vivid eye, saw the Valley of the King and all the dead remainings, like in bones, literally just like that movie, The Scorpio King. Okay, all the body came out of the Valley of the King from the sand, all rises with their cart, with their knives, with their whatever other weapons, okay, to back me up. It was fascinating. I mean, it was like out of the movie. And then even then, these beings, you couldn't stop them. They were so powerful. I don't know how they cultivated, okay, at that moment in time. I was just so fascinated. And there weren't just one, okay, there were several of them that came, okay? And the closest description I can give you from that is if you look at that movie Magnificent with Angelina Jolie, look exactly like her. Okay, the horn, everything, except she's demonic, Satan, and ET breed mixed together. Okay, and then when I did that work, I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do to clear this? I couldn't clear it until I realized, okay, I bring out my sacred elixir that I created, and it's supposed to be for that reason, because there are times where you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired, you need help, you need some kind of tools. So I create my tools. So I put it on. As soon as I put it on, it cleared. And I saw a huge sun, and through that sun, which is a portal, all the Buddhas came out in their lotus and they're like floating. Okay. And they helped me clear. And that took like 5 minutes. Okay. That was the fastest clearing at that level I have witnessed. It was powerful. So that's when it was a confirmation for me that all these time, these guys, what were they up to? They were doing genetic engineering, playing with the ETs and the spiritual aspect, which is Satan's. Okay, a lot of times people can't mix them. Okay, you have a lot of the ET UFO people, they keep it that way. They don't think it's metaphysic because to them, ET UFO is more scientific based. Okay, they have proof, they have spacecraft. Okay, and then you got the spiritual aspect, the metaphysic aspect, which is like the Satan, demonics, things you can't see, things you can't touch, like the ghosts and spirit. Okay, what they don't understand that, you know what? It's all the same. One has a body, one doesn't. Okay, but Satan do have a physical body. They can ship shape. They can do all kinds of stuff. Okay, so what they did was they took two genetics of each and they combined them together. And now that's powerful. It's two separate breeds put it together.
So
And that was the new created breed.
so
Yeah.
just for my benefit, okay. So you went to the kings and queens chambers. Like, if you guys out there, like, Luxor is basically along the Nile in the sort of central region of Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
there's some really interesting temples like the Temple of Man and stuff like that. And like, I really got into like Carmen Boulder's the Pyramid Code documentary series. There's 5 videos, and I also got into Mystery Egypt by John Anthony West, and those two have really sort of put an esoteric aspect and a more truthful sort of relationship to Egypt and the whole region, and especially John Anthony West. He gets into Shwala Daluvich and the Temple of Man, which is all in this region. But I want to just clarify something, like relative to the kings and queens sort of aspect that you're sort of exploring. Were these ancestors that, like, from a soul level, came out and you witnessed them, were they being locked down into the earth, or were they working for the
Yes,
negative? So they were sort of trapped. That's what you're saying.
exactly. Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
your work there, what you're saying with the elixir and visiting these tombs and stuff like that, you actually sort of freed them from being trapped in the earth, like,
Yes.
through dark priesthood sort of
Yes.
black magic sort of stuff, to lock down the
Yes.
negative aspects of the whole Egypt sort of
That is
stuff,
correct.
and they were trapped. So they're
Yes.
traumatizing the earth by trapping their souls of these powerful
Yes.
beings, and which is an aspect of the domination and control to limit the consciousness potential of an earth region. So what
Mm-hmm.
you did was actually free it up. So you actually cleared the earth, and
Yep.
this is a bit like, if I jump back, and sorry, Max, I'm going to bring you in soon, mate. I know you're there. Back in 2013, and this was a time that, like, just after the 5D Earth sort of stuff, you went to the Makor tribe and Makor tribe land, and um, you cleared the earth there. You did some pretty big clearing, and what
Yes,
I
I did.
recall was you cleared the earth of about 150,000 ancestors sort of in the earth and in the land. Do you want to just do a quick couple minute recap, not go into it like for half an hour, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I went to the Macaw tribe. I was invited there, and for the second time, and I basically was staying at one of the natives' home, and and she's quite intuitive, and I asked her, please, let me know what you see in your dream when you sleep with my pendant that I created, and it's supposed to help with dream time, and it also my device that I gave her also gave her permission to enter the realm that not everyone have access to. So I gave her that. She woke up the next day, and I asked her, "How was your dream?" And she said, "Oh, it's wonderful." I said, "What did you see?" She said, "The grass turned gold," and that's when I said, "Thank you. That's a permission." So as soon as she said that, I went to the front lawn, which is quite big, and there's no gate or fence, and it was on the ground, and I did my work there. And when I did, you could see this tornado coming in from behind me, and I had a tree that's like 3 story high up. It was the only tree there that was moving. All the trees just stood still. That's when you know that the energy forces is coming from this direction. And when I did that, I mean, I was moving. The wind was so powerful, and everything stopped. And when I was sitting, I was facing out to the water, and it's only like maybe 500 yards to the water, okay? And it's a small little fishing town, so you're right by the ocean. And when I did it with my eyes open, okay, during this whole time, I could see the land, the Macaw, only the Macaw tribe, okay, was racing up. Literally, it's floating up, and I could see dripping of water, dripping of water. I could see the grass. I could see the dirt. I could see the roots. Okay, it was very powerful, and I ascended. I ascend that entire land, and it is very appropriate that for me to be called to do the work there and to get the permission to be in alignment with spirit, and because they
the
were the
ancestors
first to
and stuff.
land.
You know, the
Yes, it is
ancestors.
the ancestor of the land, and so they are also very ancient people. So I was very blessed to be able to have the opportunity to clear them. Now, the second time I was invited back,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was wonderful.
But why?
And
Just before, like, all I wanted to do
yes,
was sort of get you to sort of give an example of where you've done this sort of work to clear the land,
hmm
all right? And
hmm
so that Macaw tribe land sort of clearance where there was a lot of ancestors, that came pretty much
hmm
very, very soon after sort of you did the birthing of the 5D planets, including Earth. And if I
yes.
recall, okay, what happened with those ancestors is by you doing that work, you actually allowed them to go to the 5D aspect of what you birthed. And
hmm
is that the case of what happened in this Egypt stuff with the pyramids and I mean, sorry, the kings and queens, or did they go somewhere else?
Um, Once I clear that, okay, it means that their soul are not trapped. They're not being manipulated in the 3D
Okay,
reality
okay,
for their power.
yeah,
Okay, and this is why you will see the dark forces that are doing the manipulation and the control here in 3D system. It will come down. They lose
yeah,
their power because that
yeah,
dark energy forces is gone.
yeah.
They can't harness that power anymore,
So
and that's what you'll
what I've
see.
sort of like clarified is that those two things, so they were similar, they're different as well. So
hmm
instead of going to a different Earth realm, they went to sort of the source sort of stuff. Is that sort of more accurate, or
Yes.
their home world and stuff like that?
It really depends on
Okay,
individual,
yeah,
okay?
sure.
Because
The
there are
soul,
different levels of heaven and dimensions and where they can go.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
the
Well,
most proper way,
let's not get too complicated, all right? Like
okay,
I was just wanting to establish that because I want to get
okay,
actually Max in and like to say what you're saying about these powerful beings. Okay, I can give an example. Maybe I'll get Max to sort of read it because sorry, Max, you've been on the sideline a bit. But one perception I've had recently, and this might be fascinating. It's a bit left field, but Princess Diana. Okay, there was stuff that went on with her, and um, this has come into my awareness recently. It's sort of similar to what's happened with Egypt. She's in a tomb that's surrounded by lakes of water and stuff. So it's like, um, could I be correct in saying that her soul's sort of being trapped in the earth on the ground, and people go there to worship her, but they're actually feeding that energy. You know, a bit like pilgrimage site like Egypt. So she is a powerful soul. She's a divine like feminine being of like enormous power that had a lot of influence over people and she was sort of sacrificed. Could that be a similar sort of example of what's going on?
is he muted?
Are you there, Max?
He might be
I'm here.
muted.
Yeah, I was muted.
But
Listen,
you
every
like what I want to do is sort of share your perceptions and get people to have a chance to see how you read the situation and that's sort of a neutral situation from where Nikki's been involved in, but it's a similar one. Do you have any sort of perception of that? Because that's sort of come into my reality as sort of a similar sort of setup. You know what I mean? Like where souls are locked into the earth, and um, you know that keeps them from reincarnating and stuff, but it also traumatizes the earth.
Hey, you lost me, brother, because my mind is like here and up there. I'm getting messages constantly from above.
Okay.
I kind of lost you a moment there
No, no,
because
that's cool. Like, do you want to share your messages? Because what we're doing is like we're sort of showing what sort of goes on with us, and we're a bit all over the place, but it's cool. Like, you've been really cool, Nikki. Like, what you've sort of shared is a lot of info, and I don't mean to cut you off and stuff, but um, like this is sort of what goes on with us all the time, and what Nikki sort of said, also going back up a bit, was like how Egypt wasn't planned. Stuff is never planned. It's like last minute. A bit like how this is all organized, and but I want to get Max to contribute. Do you want to share what's coming through?
yes, I do. Um, there are several cosmic beings from the light here. The Galactic Federation of Light, the Galactic Federation of Planets. They're all here. They are listening to the this program, and they want us to. They want me to tell you that they're here to help us and assist us. But a lot of the people that are not awaking are not listening. They're afraid what it can may make fear for them. They think that all this fear. They think that this is all from coming from the devil. Okay, the devil does not exist. It's just a program, and it was written in the Bible to create fear throughout all the years that the Bible has been made. There's a lot of stuff in there that's not true, and there's a lot of stuff there that is true. I would say probably about 75% of the information that's put in the Bible, and also the prophecies and everything else, it's all just to create fear. Okay,
Yep.
now, uh, I gotta say that there are many messages coming to my mind. It's just incredible. There are so many other beings of light that are not from this universe, but they're from many universes out. I'm getting communication with a lot of the people here that it's in the chat room. A lot of their starseed and and family members from their planets are here listening because I made a connection when we started the show with both of these galactic federation and the light. They are now tuning in to your frequencies, and they are now ascending to you, all of you that's here in the chat room, and the ones that are not. Okay, even if it will be an archive that we will have here on with Andre and his website, because I am recording everything here. All the recordings that's being done right now, even if you don't are not listening, but the ones that will listen later in a later date, there are encoded messages in this recording that when these people, these beautiful human people of the earth, start to listen to these archives that we are doing here, certain encoded messages, when they hear it, they will be awakened so they can finally start on their journey here on earth to get away from darkness and stay and go into the light. Um, these these beautiful beings, they're probably here right now. I'm tuning into. It looks like there are thousands of them here now, thousands, and they all agree that Earth needs to be free from this prison planet that we live in. They are here to help us, and I am one of the persons that gets communicated all the time from these beings, and they're telling me that I am myself and them are going to remove the ley lines that keeps us enslaved. we will be free very soon. Just keep the faith, keep the love flowing through your veins like your blood flowing through your body. Just stay in the light and just stay there. Do not go into fear. Remove fear from your mind. Remove ego from your mind. Once you have removed this, you will not fear nothing. Okay? I don't fear anything. I don't have an ego, and I don't fear anything because I'm also a warrior of the light. And not just a warrior for the light. I spend 10 years in the special U.S. Army Special Forces, elite force. It's different than the regular Special Forces. It's a little bit more complicated, but I can talk that another time. But you must stay in the light. Do not listen. Okay. The other thing, YouTube has good things and bad things. Don't listen to the bad in these videos that are creating fear. You know what you do? You just change it, put something different, listen to music, just get away from that. Okay? And stay in the light, and everything will be fine. You will be protected by your own people.
Yeah.
They're all here, they're all listening.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
What?
Andre.
Yeah. No. It's like obviously I'm pretty across Andrew's stuff, Andrew Bartz's that is, and one other thing I even caught a clip of his earlier this year sort of stuff, and he sort of said about the separation of densities. That's what one of his things is, and what density is that the actions and thoughts and feelings and all that we choose to have or we're a passenger of, and it's just about taking personal responsibility for all that you think, feel, and say, and your actions. And there's a lot of efforts to sort of trigger sort of emotions to drain our adrenals, and that's the purpose of fear, to drain our adrenals so the life force is milked from us. Um, and yeah, it's interesting times. It's just about being proactive on your healing and getting on top of your foods and recognizing what messages your body's offering you, because there's a dialogue going on with the soul truth, and Nickie really, when she heals and she tunes into people, she totally is in alignment with the soul of the individual, and that's illness is triggered, and disease is triggered to offer an opportunity for change. It's just a dialogue of the body, and it's a reaction to sort of a crisis and stuff like that. What I want to do is sort of what I was sort of doing with Nickie before was sort of suggesting stuff about what is done on the soul level and the earth, because some aspects of the control they use death and stuff to lock souls into the earth to cause trauma. So when there's wars and stuff like that around the place, there's potentially efforts to do that, and by that it locks down the natural grid to maintain control over it versus the artificial grid. So if you look at like the United Nations symbol and Fox News and stuff, they've got a grid sort of over the earth sort of thing, and that's why I sort of offered a couple of images relative to the pictures that are shown, and they're more in line with the natural grid. And so what the work that Nickie does is actually really incredible stuff, and she actually clears the earth of this sort of stuff. So a lot of her missions that she actually, she funds herself, or she funds via like the people that seek her out for healing, and especially the ancestral karma clearing. Because in Andrew's words, and those people that might find me, are probably a lot of you come via Andrew's stuff because I share a lot of his stuff. But there was one show that he offered this year, and he said that the universe is actually it's got ancestral karma constipation, and basically the earth is causing it, and the people not choosing to resolve their stuff or heal are causing the constipation. And that's one real powerful aspect of Nickie's skill set, because a lot of us have been here a long time, and a lot of us has probably done stuff in our past lives that potentially we may not like to focus on. And this is like what you're saying, Max, is this is an important time that we've got an opportunity here, and the structure that's sort of operating here doesn't have, it's on the verge of sort of losing the control. And by each individual choosing to heal and claim their energetic sovereignty from this reality, that's the that's the nail in the coffin, so to speak. So Nickie, do you want to sort of offer the ancestral aspect of what you do, like give some clarity in your own words?
Um, the ancestral karmic attachment is beyond vital to our existence, but to exist into this entire universe. Now that I already am working shepherding this galaxy, okay, I can definitely feel the energy. When I went to Alexandria and changed the energy at the Mediterranean, I mean, we're talking about eighth dimension being hijacked. Okay, dark portals accessing eighth dimension. That's a very high level. Okay, and so now you're looking at why are these beings can be able to enter at a very high dimensional level, and they can go in and out any given day and time. So this has all to be cleaned out. Anytime human beings create distractions or negative energy thoughts, it goes back recycle into the earth. Every time a healer goes, oh, send it to Mother Earth and let her heal. I mean, have they ever considered how is it that she heals it? Have they considered that maybe there are beings that are living inside the earth itself, that are also being affected by energy sources and whatever it is, nuclear
Absolutely.
power and
That's
everything
like
else that we're causing from the top of the surface of the earth. Mother Earth can only handle for so much. And as a matter of fact, this planet is created by collective soul. Okay, so it's a living, breathing being. That's why we call her Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. Now, being her, she had enough. This is Earth is overdue, and it is ready to spit out anything. When I did my clearing in Alexandra, the portal was not a man-made. It literally came out from Mother Earth. So it's like if you can imagine under deep under the sea, okay, there's a hole in Mother Earth, and she's basically spitting out, literally like having a diarrhea, okay, of all the negative energy collected all around the globe, spitting it out through that portal. And the dark were able to harness it and shift it all the way to eighth dimension. That's where it was alarming. Okay, I went and I shut it. I shut it off. I closed her up, and she will explode unless there is some kind of transmutation of energy in somewhere. Okay, there has to be an outlet. Otherwise, you're gonna see more of the volcano. The volcano is also another way. Let's just say where she gives out her diarrhea. All the constipation. It has to exit somewhere because she cannot transmute then all the negative energy all at once. It's too much to handle. And plus, it's another cause of, well, not just cause, but then you got all the planets around it, like Planet X or Planet Nibiru, however the name different people want to call it, okay? It's also, the shift is also causing her to increase intensity. That's why everybody's going through changes. And there's a lot of rumor articles that you read about how, oh, this is ascension time. No, it is not ascension time for everyone. If you are seventh grade, you can only go to eighth grade. So you have to do your work if you want to skip and go to like highest level. Not everyone will be ascending. You have to do your work. Okay, ascension does not discriminate your race, gender, sexual orientation, okay, or religion. It doesn't. You have to do the work, period. And that work is called self-healing. Self-healing is nothing more than you restoring your divine light and extend it enough where you have enough energy and power to the next level or beyond, whatever the next level you're capable of, depending on your level of light. So imagine it's like saying you got a car, which is your body, skin suit body technology. Okay, if you got no gas and you only got a gallon full, you can only go so many miles. Okay, but let's say you work so hard, made enough money, okay, and put $100 worth of gas in it. You fill that tank up. Imagine how far you can go with that car with a full tank. So imagine it like that. Okay, a car cannot run by itself without a driver. So you are the driver. Okay, you can think you could be in the car, okay, fully with the door shut, and you could say, okay, turn on the engine, and then you're gonna go right. The car will turn right. You want to go left, you could just. If the car's broken or there's no gas, and you say, well, I want to go to the right, and you're still seeing the car will not turn for you. That's why you have to do the work. You got to do the four aspect: mental, emotional, and spiritual aspect. Okay, and there are many things that you can do. And no, turning into eating organic non-GMO food does not cost that much. There are things you can do. Okay, and you just have to be wise about it, about those things, and it's highly doable. My next book that I'm in the process of writing, Andre, it's called The Yogi Bible. It's how to live a life of a modern yogi, and it's going to tell you how to live, what kind of supplement, medicine, superfoods that you need to have. You don't need to eat superfoods. You just need like maybe top 5 superfoods, 5 top supplements. You
Yeah,
know, the 5 things that will kill your intuition, those kind of thing. You
yeah,
know, and I basically reduce it to simplicity where everyone can have access to. You know, and a lot of practicality of it, and that is, yes, you can be the modern yogi and still work, have a job, and that's okay because you need to have, you know, some kind of monetary income coming in to support your work. Because we're not living in the old style. In the old style, nobody owns land that much. You could just grow, you know, your foods anywhere or go pick them freely. You know, the land's more rich, fertile. Now there's barely anything. The soil's depleted. It's hard to find food, so you have to seek supplement. You know,
yeah,
those kind of information.
yeah,
So it is possible. It is doable. It's not as hard as you think, but you still have to do the work, and I hope that information will give you enough faith and hope that yes, there is help.
yeah.
Yes, you can change.
Like
So
yeah, no,
it'll
that's very cool. That's
relieve a
very cool.
lot of the fear
Yeah,
for some
yeah.
people.
But
Yeah.
basically, okay, like the reason that we're sort of talking and offering it in a public way is to sort of offer, you know, but I mean, like Max gave me a message yesterday when I sort of suggested it because we couldn't really do it with too much warning or notice. We just had to sort of do it, and that's why it's sort of we haven't really practiced. We haven't talked on the radio much and stuff. We talk in private, and there's sort of we've got sort of boundaries that we sort of can't share in public, and we can't really talk about the future work and that. But basically, what we want to sort of offer the public by this sort of information is to give an awareness potential for those that might be randomly out there looking for something to find and stuff. To hear that there's been some pretty high level sort of grid energy work being going on in very important locations around the world, and Nikki's like done a lot of it like by actually visiting and giving sort of examples of what she has been done. It's sort of what has been going on in other areas of the world, and I want to just sort of focus on what I was sort of suggesting relative to the three sort of temple structures that you sort of went to, because what Max sort of said to us after in a private chat was that had an effect in relative to a certain region on the world. And what I want to do is just set that up because if you had a globe of the Earth and like or Google Earth and stuff like that, and you went around and you identified where those locations are, from a geometry sort of point of view, they actually form something called a tetrahedron. A tetrahedron is a three-sided triangle, and they're about equal place, like on a certain meridian or latitude line around the Earth, and forming a sacred geometry like shape. And so by Nickie going and sort of doing her work, she sort of really potentially unlocked a lot. So if you're around, what I want to do is if you can sort of share when we had a group chat just in these last couple of days, you perceived what effect that had on a region. And I want to offer it in that way. So if it can't be shared, it can't be shared. But are you able to sort of offer what you perceive relative to that?
Hmm.
Do you remember what happened?
Repeat that again.
Okay, so I sort of suggested that once Nickie did this third sort of mission relative to the pyramids in Egypt, okay, what you perceived is those three things formed an energy that got sent to another area of the world in the US. Do you remember?
Yes, yes, I do remember.
Well, we
Um,
want to be cautious too of the specific location, what we are
Yeah,
uh,
disclosing.
Mac knows whether it can be said or not, alright?
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's why I was sort of being a bit vague. And you've got the tact, let's say it, to know whether it can be said, alright? So that's why I sort of offered it vague, and if it can't be said, I mean, sorry to the people that may be listening to it, but yeah,
well, it can be said.
cool.
It's probably best that I do say it. When Nickie completes her journey in on the Middle East and in Asia, as soon as she finish everything, there's an energy that it's going to move at least 17 of the ley lines on the earth. When this happens, a lot of shift is going to start to happen everywhere. There may be a few small disasters like some tsunamis and earthquake, but it is on the west coast.
Earthquakes.
Well, earthquake movement of the earth is there's not going to be very much any kind of any damage. It's just a
Risk to people, that's what you're sort of saying.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Minimal
And
risk.
I made it. I worded. I sometimes you're gonna
No,
understand.
it's cool, it's cool. Like,
No,
what,
no,
I was
I
just,
need to. I need. Wait a minute. I need to explain this part.
yeah,
When I receive information, it takes me a little while to bring the answer because sometimes it gets changed. You see, I receive messages and symbols, and then it goes into vibration, then it goes into energy, and then it goes into the frequency of those words. And sometimes because I speak English, well, American, and speak Spanish, I speak Italian, I speak a little bit of Arabic and some Russian, many languages. And my mind is working with all these languages. And then once they get to Spanish, everything goes crazy because some of the words get messed up, and when I say it, it doesn't sound right. So I have to apologize for that. Not really, because that's the way it is. It's hard to do these things. Now, Uh, let me correct myself for what I said earlier. No, it's not earthquake. It's just movements of the earth. It's not earthquake. It's just a movement and a shift that there are certain dimensions right now taking effect in different parts of this planet. And a lot of us are starting to see things around us that we never seen before. And this shift that's going to happen when Nickie's finished her mission is that there are a lot of things that's going to happen on the west coast of the United States. I cannot give you a specific target because I do know the target. I have gave my word to these light beings that are telling me this, and I've actually seen it with my own eyes because I do travel. Uh, Not every night, but maybe out of the week I travel. I leave with this body that I'm in, and I go into a small craft, and I'm taken all over the planet, and they're showing me all these targets. And some of the targets that I go to is not to what I use. Well, let me rephrase that. Uh, some of these targets that I'm taken to, they give me the choice and to either fix it, or let it just happen normally. Because when I'm traveling there, I'm traveling into the future between 5 years to 10 years, and I see all the different things of the planet. I see a lot of bad things, but when I see bad things going on there, I will go closer and feel the energy, and the energy tells me, because I read energy and I read frequencies. I see what's going on, and what I do is before I do anything about it, with the assistance of these light beings that are working with me, they give me the final decision, because I was sent here from my people from a very high, very distant 21st dimension to help Earth and change many things here on Earth. And I'm able to do this. I really can change time. I can change the future, and I have done it so far. That's why there's not been a World War III yet, and I'm trying very hard for this not to happen. But I'm not going to mention the governments. The governments of this planet that want this planet destroyed. Um, they're trying to start anything, any small thing, anywhere. Especially with ISIS. ISIS is not it is a terrorist group that was created by the CIA and the Israelis. These people are ex-soldiers of different armies that were deserters and coward, and they became AWOL. So they said to them, "We'll give you all of your honorable discharge if you join this force, and we will pay you a certain amount of money, each one of you." Right now, when the ISIS started, it was only about 100 of them, but now there's more. There's at least 3,000. I'll give you an exact amount because I do have reports from my sources. There's 3,271 of them now. That's how many they are. And they're all spread out. They're all creating fear. That's all they're doing. But I see that. When I go there, I see this. So I first look at the future to see what happens while they're doing what they're doing. And if I see a lot of, a lot of violence and a lot of, you know, act of war, so I go back into the present time and I go there and I change it. I change it and I delete it. ISIS will be destroyed. I've been asked by other secret societies that they are with me and they have told me to stop them, and I will stop them. This is the first time I'm going to reveal this to anyone because my love that I love so much does not know it. But I'm in charge of a small army of ex-special forces units, and they are in all parts of the world. And very soon they're going to go in and take out all these elites, Illuminatis in Bilderberg, and we are going to take them hostage. Okay, that's the only way. We got to do it with force, all at the same time. And we are going to take them down. We are going to arrest them, and we're going to put them behind prison, in the same prison they built with FEMA camps all over the world. We're going to put them in there, and we're going to show them what they were trying. That we're going to show them what they were planning to do with us. So we're going to inflict that on them. You got to understand. I am a warrior of the light, but sometimes you have to. I'm sorry, but I do work for the light, and sometimes I have to do some dirty jobs and send orders for these people to do that. It's not just me giving the orders. There's many of them. There's actually 12 of us that give orders. But since I'm the person that's being chosen to do different things on Earth, um, so I'm that person. I want to tell you also that you have the total authority. I'm giving you all that's listening here and who is going to listen in the archives, that I give you total authority for everyone here. When you hear any type of violence or anything of fear that you think it's going to hurt the planet, I want you to say these words. The word is, it's not going to happen. That's all you have to say. Now, I'm going to give out some frequencies now to the people that are listening and the people that don't understand what awakening is. If you come across this this audio, you need to say this. I deactivate 15.1515. I deactivate. Pause and then say I activate 18.1818. I activate. When you say these frequency numbers, you'll feel something inside you that's changed. Okay? So, go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of information there and stuff, and it's really cool, mate. It's a good point that you raised, though, because that's something that I sort of wanted to sort of suggest and offer. It's about how we're co-creators and manifestors, and that's something you sort of talk about a lot. And Nikki's into that as well because she's pretty good at manifesting stuff. But what I want to sort of suggest is this is what you sort of do. It's not going to happen. And what that is about is that what Max is trying to suggest with people that may find this and hear this is that by perceiving what's being done and what's been going on, what we can do is actually negate it and the effect on humanity. And by actually perceiving it and witnessing it and knowing the potential of the effect, by actually with your aligning with your thoughts, feelings, and emotions in the frequency of love, like the state of love, not in fear. If you witness stuff like that and you, with your intent based on that foundation, if you put it out there that it's not going to happen, not on my watch sort of stuff, then by that intent into the reality, you send ripples, and you can potentially negate the harnessing of the energy in order to milk people of their fear. What I was sort of suggesting with their adrenals earlier on, to prevent stuff from happening, and it by negating those sort of aspects, it prevents the domination and control of the reality that's going on. Would that be a good sort of summation of what you're sort of trying to say, Max?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And Nickie, like you're a manifester, okay? And you sort of it's not something I would say the word promote, but you sort of offer it in what you do. Do you have anything to say on that sort of stuff?
Anyone can manifest. It's just a matter of, like I said, you polish up your car. Okay, if you supersize up your car, you can go faster in a shorter amount of time, at a high rate. And manifesting is the same way. You have to build your engine, which is your body, skin, soul technology. Okay, and best of all, clearing your karma, all the attachment. And when I say clear karma, I'm not talking about just energetic. We're talking about working at your DNA level. Anytime anybody's attached to your DNA, they will all be affected. So if you clear one, a lot of the ancestry, anybody who has your DNA code will also get some kind of work as well. Okay?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
karmic clearing is vital, vital. You want to fast tracking of shifting your DNA, that means clearing of the old ancestor and also getting an upgrade for your soul level. You need to get karmic clearing. It's the fastest way to get. Now, this information, this technology, okay, was um, teaching it, okay, by the Eastern religion, but a lot of it has been hijacked. The only one I found that's the least hijacked is Buddhism. They do teach you pretty much directly, okay, but it's still up to individual investment and to get into that and do it. So there are different kinds of karma. There's personal and there's ancestral. You need someone to help you when it comes to ancestral. Okay, someone is like, that means certified in that sense. Okay, coded to be able to do that. It's like Max. Max can give you codes for certain thing, especially when it comes to military thing, because he's actually a 5-star general. Okay, he's a 5-star dragon. He's a general. Okay, so with that comes with certain degree of level of ability to access with codes giving to him to be able to do different things, particularly for him is with the military. That's why he's affiliated with a lot of the alphabet organization, and he can tackle, you know, those ISIS. Okay, whereas other people that don't have the codes, they think that they're doing the work, but they're only doing the outside, the outskirt of it. It's only the surface.
yeah,
Okay, the real true light warriors, you have to be encoded, and everyone has a different codes. In order to gain a new codes, yes, you have to get promotion, you have to get upgraded, you have to be activated, and to do all of that, you got to go do your karmic clearing the fastest way. Okay, but then Max is also a very unique in itself because he's a walk-in, so it's a different breed. Whereas there are those that are human, so you got to do your work. You got to do your work.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Well, I mean, like,
so everyone has a
like,
different case.
like, I guess like this is a good opportunity to sort of talk about the healing and stuff path because we I sort of suggested about doing this sort of group chat sort of thing that we'll share to the public and that so people can contemplate a fair bit of stuff. So we sort of like we put out there that sort of you've been involved in some pretty major grid work around the earth that may shift the energy and the consciousness sort of stuff. And what effect that has on the individual is that and this is where I mentioned the separation of densities that might be language people are familiar with, is that um, we each have an ego and we each have a true self and we each have a shadow. The shadow self is the area where our traumas and our unresolved sort of stuff is within our consciousness that is put there so we can survive and endure over trauma and hardship and you know um, it could even be past life trauma that's bleeding through. sort of into this reality on many levels, because like Nickie and Max are powerful healers, and the shaman in my city, I mean, I had a healing this year earlier on, and he removed a impaling from me, from a past life, and that was giving me trouble in this present reality. So what happens is that the foundation of the earth is sort of being offered an opportunity to raise its level of energy, and by that, what it does is the individuals, as us human beings that are emanations of the earth, it provides an opportunity for um, our state to reciprocate and operate in sync with that. And what that does by its sheer nature is give the body an opportunity to shake out the unresolved issues. And those unresolved issues are the issues like, perceiving fear in the reality and stuff like that, and the illnesses and disease that come into the physical body, which is nothing more than a dialogue of the body to offer us in our awareness, beyond the ego's control, of an opportunity to change and resolve something. So what you're sort of suggesting there, Nickie, is it's sort of time to sort of, you know, by what we judge and we perceive in the reality, and our feeling and our reaction to it, is probably an opportunity to really take responsibility and realize that nothing should affect you. But if it is, then it's an opportunity to really ask yourself why it is affecting you. And if it is, then it's an opportunity to sort of seek healing. And yeah, it's like myself, I and you, like, I'll get into you guys as well, because Nickie, you're very vigilant on your healing. You do body work and all that all the time. You eat high level foods to give your body the energy to operate in this level. And myself, in this month, I've actually done the most shaman healings in 4 weeks that I've ever done, to get on top of this stuff which I'm saying, because I've felt it. I felt the stuff come out in me, and for me, it's been an opportunity to sort of get proactive on this stuff. So I've had a bit of a monologue there, but do you guys want to actually um, talk about the healing path of the individuals? Because you both are very powerful healers. You do it remote, and you can offer opportunities for people that may feel these sort of things coming into their reality, and an opportunity to explore them.
Yeah, I'm gonna share something when it comes to healing, okay? I hear people talk about release to release. It's really not releasing, okay? It's about understanding. When you explore, it's the process, okay? That means step by step. When you process your emotion, your emotional body, your mental body, okay? You bring understanding. Understanding brings compassion. That compassion can be for yourself first before you have compassion for somebody else. By having that compassion, you allow yourself to forgive yourself, forgive others, and allow for acceptance. That's called restoring. People call it healing. It's really not healing. It's about restoration of, from the being, from the divine spark of light. Okay, because over time, as we grow up, we basically, put a lot of dark walls around us. So, and closing our heart. So we are trying to restore back that light. So healing sometimes has a negative connotation, but I wanted to expand it out for you a little bit to have a better understanding what healing is. It's
That's
definitely a shift from, for what was to what is,
that's a very good
okay?
point, by
In
the
the
way, as
higher
well. That's a very good point.
frequency. Yeah, so
It's
shift
actually
your
it's
mind in a
courageous.
negative
It's courageous to
connotation.
seek resolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like there's many tools and like affirmations and stuff. They're very powerful if you operate with discipline and do them
Mm-hmm.
regularly. Myself,
Mm-hmm.
what I sort of suggested is that, and this is Nickie's words, it's the easy button. Like I really enjoy the opportunity to seek out a healer who's a master in their skill, and to invest in myself by them. And by investing in a healer, you're actually contributing to that sort of way of life for the individual to be able to maintain it, because it's not easy being a healer. You know, it's not easy at all. It's a very challenging reality to operate in that way, but it will be getting easier, and the key is for the individual to have the courage to heal themselves. It's not about, expecting others to do something that you're not prepared to do. It's a time for personal responsibility. So, yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Nickie, but you make a really good
Yeah,
point.
that's a yeah, and I appreciate Andre's candid experience sharing with us because it is vital to hear from somebody else who is very adamant about their healing. And I know Andre is too. I mean, he has a team of people that he goes to,
I got a
constantly to give him
Rolodex.
validations and. But for those of you who are looking, shop around, see somebody that you trust, and sometimes you find a healer that will work for you for a month, 2 months, because their job is done. So you have to go for somebody else. And that's okay too.
Yeah,
You just gotta find someone that you trust, okay, and that they also doing their own healing.
yeah,
So feel free to interview them. If they start telling you that they don't do their own healing, walk away because they obviously don't know what they're talking about.
yeah,
As long as you're a breathing human being, okay, you need to do self-healing, health, self-restoration. It's like every day you take a shower, you brush your teeth. Why? To clean yourself out from dirty energy, from the sweat, the smell, the toxic stuff that comes out your body, from the air. Yes, you got to clean. So energy is the same way, it's no different. So definitely do interview on your healers. If they're not doing their own healing journey, walk away. They obviously don't know what they're talking about. And when they harness enough dark energy, negative energy within them, they'll expel it out to you. And you will be absorbing all that dark, negative energies. So instead of getting healed, you're actually being more contaminated. And you're having to go home and clean that out yourself. So make sure you take care of that part. Interview them, find someone you can trust, and yes, have few people around healers, that you can trust. Someone who can be candid with you. Okay, you're not here to lift up your ego. You're here because you're serious and ready to confront what is ugly, what needs to be restored. Okay, you can't release things of what you don't know. It's easy to say, oh, go ahead and release it. You're like, release what am I releasing? Oh, your anger. Well, I don't know which one is causing the anger. If your father beat you up and keeps saying the word hell break loose, and that's a trigger word, that's going to be the word that you have to go and use to heal with and deprogram. So when people go say release the anger, you're like, release what? You don't even know. Okay, so the process, again, anything that triggers that anger button, explore. Okay, explore yourself. Act like you are the observer, third party observer, watching a movie, and let it roll out. See it with the candid eyes. What is it? What is it that I'm processing? What is the message I have to learn? And what is it I can do to be better? And those are the phrases, the questions that you want to continue asking yourself. And eventually it becomes so easy, okay? That you will shift much faster, okay, every day. So as long as you're processing, you'll be fine. When you stop and you say, oh, I don't need, that's when you're in trouble, okay? And the deeper the hole that you dig, it'll be harder to get out of that hole. So it's much easier to face on forward and confront and have that warrior attitude of let's go, let's bring it on.
yeah,
The
yeah.
faster you do this, the faster you will be healed and get activated.
The
And
other
once you
thing,
heal, you're cleaning out your closet full of skeleton to allow new space, okay, to fill it in with better stuff.
yep.
Okay? That
The
should be
other,
a motivation.
well, I mean, like, I'm pretty cross Andrew stuff, and the video series I created, like Conscious Explore Ancient Past, Present Task, that you're in a lot as well, Nickie, right? But what what's sort of going on now is that a lot of people are actually incarnating, and they're actually choosing to have themselves shut down, or they're actually choosing to go through a traumatic experience to keep themselves energetically in a low profile. And what this does is actually, by them actually in their pre-birth sort of process, choosing to have situations that cause them harm and trauma, it lowers their observational level from the overall sort of process going on here, that we're all chosen to be here to bring balance back and free Earth from, is that those events sort of pop up at certain points in our lives, probably more so now with all this combination of stuff that we're talking about here, like the work that you've done in Egypt and all around the world to give Earth an opportunity to raise her frequency, and us being in it have an opportunity to operate in that reality. And so combining all that stuff that we've said and those sort of perhaps soul-coded events that are getting triggered maybe now, um, it all it is like, I see everyone as sort of a statue of David, and all those events and those healings are just revealing parts of the marble in the block to reveal the statue of David that we are. So and what you said, Nickie, about choosing and exploring healers, like it's an interesting process to find the right one. The key, like what I've found, and this is really really cool to sort of contemplate, that if you haven't actually done healing and stuff like that, actually just entertain it in your thought space and your heart space. It's like, I want to have a healer, you know. I'm ready to have a healer, and what you might find is just synchronistically in your reality is that the healer in your local reality will be like someone that was totally obvious and you didn't know it, and it will be revealed that they're probably the ideal healer for you in your reality. I mean, Max and Nickie are an incredible healers, and they can do it remote, you know. I mean, that's part of why I wanted to offer them a chance to speak, because they've been pretty low profile and in the trenches doing a lot of work. But when you may choose them as an avenue to invest in, like Nickie's in Nepal at the moment, and that investment in her perhaps might help her fund the next legs of her journeys to do the grid work and stuff around the earth, to do all this stuff. So it's like, if you can actually see beyond just you and what might enable that healer to do, it might be the event that allows them to continue doing what they're doing. Like, because it's pretty challenging. Like Nickie said, you have to be very vigilant on yourself. You have to be self-disciplined. You have to be prepared to do your own work, because unless you're totally clear, you're setting yourself up for a failure maybe, and that's okay. Everyone goes through lessons, and there's no wrong or right. It's just gaining more knowledge and becoming stronger. But it's what we're sort of wanting to offer is that there's been big things sort of happen, and having the courage to be maybe proactive on that path. It's probably a time to sort of focus on it, because what will happen is that maybe if you're reluctant to sort of explore that path, is that this is what happens to a lot of people in the spiritual community, is they go through crisis and they're reacting to the crisis, and the crisis is just an event to trigger to offer an opportunity to change. So Nickie, I mean, and Max, you're both healers and you deal with a lot of sort of crises. Is that a pattern that you guys see?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead, Nickie, and speak first. You're a lady. You're first.
Thank you. A lot of times people wait for the crisis, and we are riding in the wave right now of energy, okay? And everything's already sped up, and it's also a filtering process right now of selecting which soul's gonna go to which direction. Okay, there are powerful beings that done their karmic clearing, that have done the grid work, and they're being called. Okay, they got their tickets in the mail, and they're being called to leave because the new earth is already here. We need these people, these powerful beings, to go cross over, okay, and prepared for the refugee that are coming in as well, okay. And so we are getting those, And and I want to clear also about ascension. Ascension is not just your consciousness is like being enlightened. No, we're talking about changing your body into a rainbow body. Okay, you got the or you take your entire body, but it's a different kind. Now, many ET people or walk-ins, that is not ascension. Ascension for them thinking is okay. I'm just going back to your ship. Okay, that is not ascension. That's just going back to your ship. ETs also have evolutionary stages that they go through to connect with the universal source field. They're just like us human. They're just not living in this planet. They're just in a different planet. And yeah, they have advanced technology such as spacecraft, and they can do different things. Like Scotty, beam me up. They have those kind of technologies. But for their soul evolutionary, it's the same process. They have to go through the same soul evolutionary, and they have to connect with the source. And with that technologies, okay, like I said, there are things that they have to do. And there are different beings that live in different universe and dimensions that assist, okay, other beings, including the humans, to go through this soul evolutionary process. Because ultimately, the higher level you go, you become just nothing but a consciousness. And this collective soul of collective consciousness will eventually form into a planet. So the ultimate reward is to become a planet, like the planet Earth, the Mother Earth. And then you get to have your children living on it. You get to shepherd it. So that's how the planet formed, and how it has connection with beings, including human and ETs alike. I don't know if I
That's
answered the question.
Yeah,
you.
it was about crises and playing, um, not being proactive on the healing process. Because if you're choosing to entertain these sort of spiritual things and stuff, then you've actually chosen to go on that path. And if you're sort of resistance, or like we talked about fear earlier, which is false energy appearing real, if you're worried about finding the wrong healer and then doing damage to you and all that sort of stuff, it's like, um, you're setting yourself up potentially for a failure with what's going on. That's what we're sort of alluding to. We're trying to do it in a delicate way. But Max, I'd love to get your take on what you perceive about like those who are reluctant to be proactive on the healing and they go through crisis. Like, what have you seen, and what do you perceive about the reality that we're in? Because the other thing is, if you're reluctant to healing, then you can get caught and dragged into other people's stuff because you're offering
And they'll
leverage.
explode.
Yeah. So the
They'll
people around
explode
you,
eventually.
it's a great form of defense from what is going to potentially occur with the consciousness going on in people. So the crisis sort of thing in the individual, Max.
Yes. One of the things that I do is when I have developed my own skills, my own techniques on how to do different types of healing. I've also done healing. I have removed tumors and cancer from many people. When I went to Miami in 2010, I was asked to come, and I was able to. We had about 57 people show up that wanted some healing, and a lot of those people were also psychic and mediums, and they came to witness or also being healed. So I did. I did some praying first, and I invoke many healers of light that come and work with me at the same time. When I did the healing on 57 people, it took me about 2.5 hours to do all of them. I will go from one. I will go from right to left because that's the way the energy that I use to do the healing left, right to left. And a lot of people had cancers, tumors, diabetes, all different types of diseases. So what I did was I invoke. Somebody's trying to call me. I can't answer that right now. I'm on air. Uh, anyway, I went around the whole circle of 57 people, 2.5 hours it took me. A lot of the psychic were yelling and screaming and saying, Sananda is on your left side and Saint Germain on your right. And as you were going around, everybody that were psychic and medium were actually were actually uh, they were actually doing. Wait a minute, I got sidetrack here. These messages. Okay, okay, got it. Okay, let me go on. And a lot of them, they all were screaming and yelling. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. And when there was a lady friend of mine, a friend of mine, at the very end, she had a fever and sore throat for about a week, and she couldn't get rid of it. By the time I got to her, and Sananda and Saint Germain were at my side because I work with them, and they work with me. By the time I finished, and I almost passed out because the energy was so intense between all three of us that I almost lost consciousness and almost fell on the floor because I was picking up all these people's pain that they were going throughout the many years of their life, and that pain that I took away from them and the healing that I did and remove all these brutal way of life that they were in pain that I had all that whole load on top of me. So I had to go away from the group and released all that energy into the ground, and then sit down and take a breather, and I had to put a lot of ice on me because where I come from, um, my planet is all completely frozen, and and a lot of times I have to put ice on myself to revive myself. But so what I'm trying to say is that I do have different techniques. I use a technique that I tap into your subconscious mind, and I'm able to pull frequencies out of there. And then when I get the frequencies, what I do is that I tune in to the subconscious mind at the same time and able to find the frequencies that are doing you harm, and it comes out of your DNA. And once I'm finished doing my work, I can guarantee that everything that you had in your body is gone. There's many people here in the chat room that I've worked with, and they can tell you right now that I'm for real. I'm not, for example, Sandeep, say something there. I work with him, and he felt everything. But anyway, yes. What else, Andre? You asked me. There was something
Yeah,
else.
yeah. I was just sort of, I mean, that's pretty cool because you're like you guys are both really powerful healers, and to be able to do what you guys do remote over Skype, and like Nickie with her ancestral stuff, it's phenomenal. And
Yeah.
what I was sort of saying is that like we've sort of offered a lot of information over all this, and we're over 2 hours now, and we're going to sort of set up to wrap all this up and sort of end this sort of first show of us together, and that because Nickie's actually not been very well. She's been trying to recover from all the Egypt stuff, and Max has actually had like a life sort of thing happen before the show, which we alluded to earlier. So um 2 hours is probably doing pretty well, and we haven't even had a break. So
Hey,
but
Andre.
Yeah, we
but
need we
Hey,
need we need a break, and also I'm right now I'm training a pure divine goddess here in Nepal, and my work is working on the sacred divine, feminine divine energy. And I'm here to release them, to activate them, so then they can take the responsibility and do their job. And as the energy shifting is coming, this is why harp was used on Nepal. And I talked to them today. We had dinner together, and they told me that it's actually the number went up to 10,000 of people that actually died in Nepal, not 6 or 8,000 that was reported in the newspaper worldwide. There are more that's still unaccounted for. And every day there's about 11 counted cases of committed suicide because their family member died. So far, since the April, thousands of committed suicide cases have been reported because their family passed away, and these people are basically energetically attached to each other, and they commit suicide to be with their loved ones. People here are different. They're very more tuned in each other. You have men walking around holding hands. If the foreigner comes, they would think they're gay, but they're not. These guys are completely straight, okay? Because people here are connected on the heart level, not on the mental level. Okay, so energy here is very different. It's very high frequency. Not to say there are some dark areas, okay, but in comparison to other places that I've seen, it's a very high place, and also it's a gate to Tibet, and to a lot of sacred sites, such as birthplace of Buddha, and you got Padma Sambhava. Of a lot of his works are related here, and so there are many sacred sites that the dark forces are desperate, and they don't want us to, or anyone to, have access to this part of the world. So this is what we're facing with, and this is why one of the reasons why I'm here in Nepal is to assist these people, to put them basically, hey, you need to start being responsible, for the people within your area, and eventually will assist the other humanity. Now, I'm also having the opportunity to write my book, the Yogi Bible, that will be coming out very soon. My first book is Stop Suffering, Start Loving. That came out, was an Amazon bestseller for bestseller. And so if you want to read a book that speaks from soul language and does the activation for you, and don't forget, throw out the grammar and all that stuff, because it does not reflect my credential. And so you want a soul language, you get that book. It has a scientific base and also amazing quotes that will help you. And it's a very fun and also very in-depth book to read as well. And for more information on my stuff, you can go to T Nano Healing Tools, if that would help. Andre, I'm just going to throw out there for your listener. If they want to seek more information, that's up to them. And right now, because I'm traveling, trying to find sacred sites to do Pacific work, I'm opening to accept certain apprentice if they want to do playing the Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider, except we're not going to be, jumping off the cliff, things like that. And eating bugs. Well, I don't know, that might, I can't guarantee that, to tell you the truth. If you're up for that, but we're not going to be collecting any artifacts, okay? If you're up for the Indiana Jones aspect on the metaphysic level, going to different sacred sites, activations of the grid, or doing water activation, like I went to Niagara Falls and brought down 16 Buddhas there, okay? Then definitely contact me directly. I'm only accepting 1 or 2 students, okay, at a time, to travel with me and to have a full hand experience. And what it means is that, yes, I will be reading you, activating, healing, do all of that work together, holding your hand through this process. And you will feel, you will experience, you will see everything from all aspects. And I will tell you, this is not a luxury trip, okay? And it's fascinating. You get to see. You might be in the war zone. Who knows? It just depends where we're going, and yeah, so it's very amazing, interesting, amazing adventure. So anyways, thank you, Andre, and Captain Max, for this opportunity, and I look forward for our next conversation again and updates.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good that we sort of did this. I mean, we're pretty rusty and stuff like that. I think there's been a lot of good information out there. On my website, I've sort of set up many things, which is servantoftruth.org, and it's very simple. And if you go, there's a section called Perspectives where I've got most of my stuff, and there's a What's New, and under the What's New is basically like a blog that I put updates and all related to today's sort of talk that we've offered. Um, I've got pages for both Max and Nickie on my website under the teachers section, and in there is all the details related to like Nickie and access to Max. But Max, do you want to sort of put out your information? Do you want to put
Yes.
out your information?
Yeah. You can reach me on Skype, lowercase CAPT Max Steel, or my Hushmail account is CAPT Max Steel at Hushmail, HUSHmail.com. Anybody that needs some help out there, just let me know. I usually ask for a gift or a small donation. I'm not out there to get rich or nothing like that. I just do have some expenses, but I'm here to help you when you need me. I do incredible things, and I'm not saying that from ego. I'm saying that from my heart. I do
You have, mate.
incredible
You
things,
have.
and you've been presence. You've been presence there when I have done these things. So,
Yeah, and tough
um,
cases like last resort sort of stuff. So yeah, it's and what I sort of suggested it's like there's we didn't really talk about money and stuff like that, and we won't get into it too much, but it's important. It's not what other people do. I mean, there's a lot of greed and self-serving aspects being really blasted in our face. But if you are choosing to be a spiritual being and want to operate in your best energy and stuff like that, it's important to respect the boundaries and the work that other spiritual people do for you. You don't wait for them to ask. You see them as an investment, and it's very courageous, and it's known the investment and the energy exchange that you do for people that do service to you. And working with people like Max, Nickie, and Andrew Bartzis, they've got access to our Akashic records. They know you better than you know yourself, and if you're an authentic, true spiritually inclined individual, then you just do it as a matter of as an expression of your life, and like everyone's got the need to survive in this reality. It's based on money for the time being. With this all work, the whole banking structure won't have the leverage over us. But in the meantime, we have to respect the reality in which we operate. It's about claiming your energetic sovereignty from it, but respecting how others have to operate in it. So yeah, Max is a very caring guy, and he has trouble asking for that sort of offering. So I'm really wanting to sort of drive that home. And yeah, Nickie's actually had to leave and move off and go and do her stuff. But I want to thank you, Max, and I'm really sorry that you
no,
had
wait.
to.
I want to say something. I just want to say something if you allow me.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um, Listen, people out there, if you believe and have faith in the light, now's the time to manifest what you want out of your life to be. Just have the faith. Follow your heart. Feel the love that your heart is projecting to yourself first, and then you can project it to others. You must stay in the light and do not let anything come at you and try to take you off that path. Because love is very important. Love is in all our hearts. All we need how to do is to say to yourself, I love myself, and at the same time project that love to everyone around you that you feel like. Just forgive them and send love to these beautiful humans of Earth. I am not an Earth human. I come from the planet of Eliam, 17 universe out in the 21st dimension. Next time I will talk about how I came here, why did I come here, and what were the orders I was given before I got here. I will explain that next time when we have our show. Andre, are you going to do this again next week, or what do you want to do?
Haven't really established any sort of pattern. I think we'll just do it when it feels good, mate. So we'll do it a bit random and not really offer any sort of pattern. So we don't have to worry about sort of psychic assassination attempts, before the show. But yeah, I want to thank you, Max. You're a trooper, mate, and I want to thank Nickie as well. It's been really cool, and this is a bit weird. It's a bit funny doing it in a public way because we just joke and stuff like that in private. But my attitude is we're all chosen to be here in this time, and while it feels like uncertain stuff, it's not a case of going into the fear mode or doing the doubt or the lack of self-worth and self-love. And a lot of people around us might actually go through a lot of hardship and challenge, and you have to be okay with that because there's purpose to it, and have the courage to just witness it and see what's going on and stuff like that. It's not your responsibility. The only responsibility you have is for your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And if you can master them and be courageous and do some of the stuff that we may have suggested and observe that's what's going on in your reality, because the healer or the teacher or the soul group member that you've been longing for might just be around the corner. And we've been waiting for this time for a long time, so it's a good time to be alive. And I might sign it off there. So thank you, everyone, and until next time, see you around the traps. This is Andre Hodge